Whoa, this is weird. I better call Nancy and read this to her word for word.
Wow, Bess, that is weird.
No, I'll tell you what's weird. The box the letter is in is padded, and it has this round indentation in it that's the exact size of a human skull. It's like it used to contain a skull, but now it doesn't.
Did you find anything else?
Yeah, inside the box that this box is in, there's a couple of photographs. One's of a boy and a dog, and the other is of an iguana dressed up like a pirate.
What?
And there's a costume in the box of a skeleton man.
Really?
Thought you'd like that.
Good job, Bess. I'm gonna poke around here and see if I can find out anything about a skull called the Whisperer. You better go take care of Lamont.
Would you believe it? The guy is still sneezing. He must keep nose spray around because something's wrong with his sinuses. Oh, he's gonna hate me.
Nancy, welcome to my little lantern-lit corner of the world.
Looks like you like to grow things.
I do indeed. Herbs mostly. And because I'm in constant need of them, I grow them in pots.
So you're still doing the cooking even though Bruno Bolet is gone?
I don't use these herbs for cooking, darling. Did you and Henry have a nice chat?
We talked.
Henry's a very morose, very negative young man. Very cunning, too. In fact, I'm fairly certain that he's been selling off Dr. Bolet's belongings on the sly.
What kind of belongings?
Just little things, odds and ends, really. But the lawyers made it very clear that no assets were to be liquidated until all of Dr. Bolet's affairs are settled. According to Dr. Bolet's will, Henry is to get 30% of the estate. Dr. Bolet's physician, Gilbert Buford, gets 30%. Our Lady of Route 57 School of Dentistry and Cosmetology gets 30%. And I am to receive 10%.
What was in that concoction you wanted me to drink after I got knocked out?
Never you mind. It was just a little remedy I brewed up on the spot to help you feel better.
If you don't like Henry that much, how come you're still here?
I'm here because Dr. Bolet paid me in advance, and I always fulfill my obligations.
If you don't mind my asking, what's in that little pouch you wear around your neck?
Things. Secret things. Things that give me special talents when special times demand them. People usually laugh when I say this, but this pouch is my connection to the energy that powers the universe.
Oh,
Well, at least you didn't laugh.
nice talking to you.
One more thing. I, too, have seen the skeleton man. After Dr. Bolet passed, that night, I saw him in the hallway. He was there, then he was gone. So you best be careful, Nancy Drew, because if it was Mr. Death, and I truly think it was, he's come back. Hello again.
Have you ever seen this before? I found it by that scale model of the cemetery that's inside the house.
It's a mystery to me. I suggest you ask Henry. He leaves things lying around all the time. I guess it figures I won't notice amid all the other clutter. But I do. I notice everything. How else may I be of service to you?
Nice talking to you.
Thanks for coming by.
What was that?
That was Uncle Bruno's pet iguana, Iggy. He's always in here stealing paper. He must be using it to build a nest or something. Look, I had all those books arranged so they fit perfectly in that box. Put them back in, okay? I don't have time.
I just want to look through this one book.
Go right ahead, after you put all those other books back.
Yes, hello?
Hi, my name's Nancy Drew. Is this Professor Hodgkiss?
I am she. Nancy Drew. Your name has a ring to it. Do I know you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we met a little while back in Wisconsin.
Oh, yes. You were the delightful young lady doling out the samples in the tasting room of that cheese factory. Yum, yum.
No, I met you at Wickford Castle.
That's ridiculous. There was no cheese tasting room at Wickford Castle.
No, we were both guests there. I found a journal written by Marie Antoinette which you translated. Remember?
Thanks to you, suddenly all I can think about is how wonderful a nice big slab of Colby cheese would taste right now. Listen, Mandy, I'm on a deadline, so if you could please just tell me why you called.
But my name isn't...
Deadline! Let's cut to the chase, shall we? Chop, chop.
Did a man from New Orleans named Bruno Bolet ever call you?
Ah, now there's a name you can remember. Bolet. Nice and French. I'm a scholar of French history, you know.
Yes, I know. So did Bruno Bolet call you?
Indeed he did. Oui, oui.
How long ago was that? Do you remember?
2, perhaps 3 years ago, he had just read my book, The Crystal Skulls. Fact or fable, one of my best efforts. Sold like hotcakes, smothered in a rich, tangy lemon sauce.
Did he say anything about owning one of the skulls himself?
I would have hung up on him straight away if he had. I tell you, Brandy, if I had $1 for every crackpot who's called claiming to own one of those skulls, I'd be able to dine at the Russian tea room every evening for the rest of my life. All right, that's a bit of hyperbole, but you get the picture. No. If memory serves, we talked mostly about the skull called the Whisperer. He wanted to know if I had learned any more about it since my book was published, which I hadn't, or if I had any theory as to what happened to it, which I didn't.
And that was the extent of your conversation?
Well, now, let me think. My, such insatiable curiosity, Nellie. You remind me of someone I encountered on one of my journeys. But for the life of me, I cannot remember her name or the circumstances.
Nancy Drew? Wickford Castle?
Ah! The eyes have it.
I'm sorry?
That's what Bruno Bolet said when I turned the tables and asked him if he had any idea where the Whisperer was. He said, the eyes have it. Then he chuckled and hung up.
How much would a crystal skull like the Whisperer be worth?
In this crazy day and age, where the shorn hair and used tissues of celebrities get sold for thousands of dollars, there's absolutely no telling, Candy. $500,000 easily. Maybe even $1 million. Maybe 2. Maybe 10. The sky's the limit. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
If someone found a skull made of crystal, how could they be sure it's one of the crystal skulls?
Wonderful question, Francie. How indeed? Because there are sure to be thousands of fakes out there. Perhaps tens of thousands. But remember, the real skulls were made long before the tools commonly used for carving today were invented. Which means, let's put on our thinking caps.
If tests show that a skull is only a couple of 100 years old, then it's a fake?
Ah, would that crystal contained carbon? Because if it did, carbon dating could be used to determine its age, much like carbon dating is employed to determine the age of bones and religious relics. But what is crystal? Quartz. What is quartz? Silicon dioxide. No carbon. No carbon, no carbon dating. No, to determine a crystal skull's authenticity, you must examine it for marks left behind by modern-day tools. Mind you, the marks on a good fake would be microscopic and thus imperceptible to the human eye. However, any thorough laboratory analysis would quickly unmask a counterfeit.
So the only way to prove that a skull is the real deal is by proving it's not a fake?
And by examining its provenance, its history of ownership. If it can be shown that a particular specimen has been passed along from antiquity into modern times and didn't just suddenly appear in, say, Germany in the mid-19th century, that would tend to support its authenticity as well.
The idea that the Whisperer can make its owner immortal, do you believe that?
I believe that things that defy any so-called rational explanations happen all the time, Nessie. Now, does that mean There are mysterious external forces at work in the universe of which we do not and cannot ever have full knowledge? Or does it all boil down to us? If the human heart desperately wants something to be true, does the human mind have the power to make it true? Who knows? Oh, questions, questions, questions. Oh, how dreary life would be without them.
In your book, you said that all the people who've ever owned the Whisperer were murdered. Yet Bruno Bolet dropped dead of a heart attack.
Are you saying the Whisperer was in his possession after all? The scallywag! Why didn't he tell me that? Oh, that's right. I would have hung up on him. Well, if that's the case, then I strongly suggest you take a close look at his so-called heart attack, Sandy. Because if he owned the skull and he died, I guarantee you it was at the hands of someone else. Or my name's not Beatrice Gertrude Winifred Hodgkiss.
That's it for now.
Toodaloo!
Figure out if there's anything camouflaged in that design, I'm going to need some paper.
Hello again.
Did Dr. Bolet ever say anything to you about a crystal skull? He may have referred to it as the Whisperer.
No, he never so much as mentioned a crystal skull, whispering or otherwise.
I understand that Dr. Bolet had some interesting pets, like an iguana.
That man never met a creature he didn't like. He'd train them to do all kinds of silly tricks, then let them run free, inside the house as well as out.
Do you know how he went about training them?
I surely do not. Don't get me wrong. I liked Dr. Bolet, I truly did. But I swear, sometimes his activities made as much sense to me as bathing in a bayou full of gators.
Do you by any chance have some plain paper that I could use?
I most certainly do. But it's up in my room, and I'm afraid I cannot retrieve it for you until I'm finished here. You get the sudden urge to draw a picture?
Something like that. I know, I'll help you. That way you'll get done faster.
Gracious, you are the picture of impatience, aren't you? Well, I appreciate the offer. But here, why don't you just take this instead? It's an extra key to my room. The paper's in a drawer in my nightstand. I have to keep it hidden on account of that paper-thieving iguana. Just go on up and help yourself. But make sure you lock the door when you leave, you hear? You I trust. But Henry, him I do not.
I really appreciate this.
And long as you're going up there, my appetite could use a little placating, so I would be much obliged if you would bring me a candy bar from my nightstand. And take one for yourself while you're at it.
One for Renee, and one for me. Yum. Yum. Gosh, these things are good. Yum.
Uh-oh. Who?
You bring me that cocoa kringle bar like I asked?
Right here.
Bless you. I'm so hungry I could devour these plants I'm potting up, dirt and all. How else may I be of service to you?
Those weird symbols on the wall in your room. Do you know who painted them?
I did. Fact of the matter is, there's a spirit living in that wall.
A spirit?
Got a voice that'd send shivers down the spine of Dracula himself. Used to hear it sometimes, in the dead of night, half talking, half whispering, saying this one word I never heard before, like it was from a language no one on earth spoke. And suddenly, I knew. The spirit was trying to cast a spell on me. So I got me a book and found out that by painting the word I heard on the wall, syllable by syllable, in hoodoo signs, I could counteract the word's power. And you know what? The spirit has not spoken that word or any other since.
What was the word?
Darling, a sack full of water moccasins couldn't get me to say that word out loud. Nor will I write it down, no sir. Not ever, ever, ever.
Nice talking to you.
Thanks for coming by.